Welcome to Walkabout Town. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to another video. And today, as you can see, I'm just near Cineworld here, which is this building right behind me. And the reason why is because, as you know, as many people know by now, and yes, it's been all over social media, that the cinema is to close. Unfortunately, that's right. Which means another blow to this town of Leigh. Of course, with B&Q closing as well, it's very sad, of course. But then it's the sign of the times. It does seem that Hollywood is not producing enough films either, and plus dwindling audiences as well. And yes, such a shame. But of course, does this mean the end of cinema chains altogether? I mean, we've seen the end of Empire, which was at Wigan. Now that's been taken over by another one, which is I believe is an independent cinema company. Who knows? Maybe an independent company might take over this building. We don't know. Well, let's hope that Leigh's not going to be without a cinema. Well, there is one kind of cinema that will still remain, and that's the one at the Spinners in Leigh, the old factory, the old Spinners factory, which is home to quite a few venues actually. But it would be great if that cinema hosting classic films would be open all the time, because it only seems to be open on certain days. Well, but while we're on the subject of cinemas, I thought, we'd have a little bit of a walkabout to show some of the areas of where old cinemas used to be. That's right. So, let's go. And of course, we start off here on the corner of Leigh Road and Windermere Road. Next door to the fire station is, of course, the old fire station, that is. Now, the Furniture Pavilion is the old Grand Cinema, which was the first in 1925 to introduce sound. And as sound pictures were coming in. And over the road, of course, the old Hippodrome originally started life as a theatre, but then, of course, later became a cinema. And, of course, went under the names like the Odeon, the Classic, and, of course, later on in its life became Canon. Canon pulled out of the cinema trade later on, which meant the end of an era of cinemas in Leigh. Yes, no more cinemas after that, because it later became a Laser Quest, and then it, of course, that failed, and then it later became a nightclub, the Hippodrome nightclub, and then later the Cube, and now it is what you see it as now, as part of the Witherspoon's pub chain now, which has done reasonably well, better as a restaurant. And here we have the Sems, which was above the old site of the old Conservative Club. Sadly, it was burnt down a couple of years back, but of course it did house a cinema in there. Of course, later it became a sort of like a nightclub or something like that, with pool tables and that. So it became like a bit of a sports venue, I believe. You can always comment and below. Anyway, of course, here we are on Lord Street, where was the site of the old Theatre Royal, which was opened its doors in 1885. And, of course, on the site now is, of course, apartments, which were built not that long ago. And, of course, the Theatre Royal later became known as the Casino, which was played host to the Beatles. The Beatles actually played there before they became known. And, of course, later known, the place was known as the Rubens nightclub. Credit to Ian Grady, though, with that picture. Of course, if you take a look here at the headstone, as we approach the headstone here, you'll see the date of when it was built. There you see when the place was actually built. It was built in 1884. Of course, was open a year later. Well, at least according to Google, anyway. Well, of course, next up, we come to this place on the site of what is now Iceland. Of course, was in fact the site of the old Empire Cinema, which was situated here on Bradshawgate, and here it is, what it actually looked like. Yeah, it was quite a nice looking building too, as well. And of course, Supermarket was built here in the 60s. Well. And here we have another old form of cinema, which is now a car showroom. Yeah.
Because here is now County Motors.
Bradshawgate, here on Chapel Street. Yes, because it's now County Motors now. We're here on the site of what's Spin and Jelly Pub, which is sadly now closed. Was the site of was the site of the old Regal Cinema, which used to situate on the corner. This is the side view of it, so how it used to look. And yeah, sadly now gone. And it was at it was situated between the two bus stations as well. For those who remember that, one of the entrances was actually on King Street, and the side entrance was on Spinning Jenny Street, which of course here is now the site of the Spinning Jenny pub, later known as Oscar's and the Goose. But it's kind of, of course, nothing really remains of this site now. It's all gone to dust. Well, and here I am outside Spinners, the Spinners here in Leigh, an old factory which has been converted into all sorts of things. And yes, on the fourth floor there is in fact a cinema here as well, which means that when Cineworld closes down, it does mean that officially this will be the only cinema here in Leigh. And the film they're showing at the moment is of course Die Hard. In fact, one of my all-time favourite action films, and it has to be one of my all-time favourite Christmas films. Now, some people may argue that Die Hard is not really a Christmas film, but actually, technically it is, because yes, it's Christmas themed, it's set at Christmas, so technically it is a Christmas film. Now, of course, if you want to see films here, you can book online or visit fourth floor at Spinners Mill here in Leigh, and of course there's the address, and of course there's the website, as you can see. And well, let's go and take a look inside. Films that's just on here. There's of course the projection room, just trying to close at the moment, and these are just some of the films that's been shown. It's like Elf, I just seen that on TV the other week, or on DVD. It's a Wonderful Life. Well, of course, that brings us to the end of the list of cinemas in Leigh, and of course, and as mentioned, this will technically be the last, and of course the only cinema in Leigh after Cineworld closes, unless of course another cinema chain does move in. But until then, we can enjoy some classic films here at the Spinners Mill here in Leigh. And of course, who knows, I might even do a full tour of this factory at some point. If you want me to, don't forget, like and subscribe for future videos. I'll see you next time on another one.